The Waterhouse, by RDJ. "Let's go for a rip on the four-wheeler," I excitedly said to my wife. She just smiled back and nodded in agreement. See, I've been eyeing up this new four-wheeler I wanted for a few years now, and when I saw the deal I couldn't resist. The payments were a bit much, but as anyone does, they justify it to themselves with, "You better enjoy life before you're too old or you can't take it with you." All that kind of stuff. So I signed the dotted line and that was that. It was a nice day in late summer, maybe an hour left of daylight, and I had finished up doing everything else I needed to that day. The beautiful part of all this is that in our small town in Alberta, Canada, we were able to just start it up and go out of town on some trails that led into the fields. No need to cart it around behind a truck. After we had put on our gear and threw a few extras in the dry box, we drove out of there and headed up the hill into the open field behind our sleepy little town. Once we got to the top of the hill, there was a fork in the road, either a left or a right. Everywhere around us was just rolling hills and fields, with a beautiful mountain backdrop behind it all. The weather was warm, a slight breeze was blowing by. We decided to go left and follow the path down into a gully, then back up the other side. The path then again broke into a fork. We went right this time. Maybe 5 minutes down the path we came to a clearing that was sloping downwards into a large opening in the ground. The large opening was really big, almost like a crater site from 80 years ago that had been left alone and overgrown with trees and shrubs and bushes all around the outsides. There looked to be a kind of small stream barely trickling at the bottom. We stopped and got off the four-wheeler to get a better look. There was this old, broken down shack way down at the bottom of the crater on the left side. It was pretty far away, we could only discern the basics about it. But it looked rough, like it was falling down, holes in the sides, roof was caving in, and on the front it looked to have some kind of shaft going into the ground. We couldn't even see a road or a path to go down, even if someone wanted to go down there. All of a sudden we both looked at each other and froze. "Do you feel that?" I asked. "Yes," she replied. An eerie feeling hit us both like a bat to the face. I've had many of those "maybe this isn't a good idea" feelings, but this was intense. Almost like whatever was or was not down in that cabin had alerted to our presence and did not like it at all. The eerie feeling was growing stronger. We both started walking back to the four-wheeler, kind of looking at each other like, "Yup, I'm good, not today." Just then a loud bang came from in the crater. It was a really low rumble bang, like something really big had impacted on something else. I swore I felt a rumble on the ground. We both froze again. Silence. We turned around and started looking for anything at all that could have possibly made that noise. We couldn't see anything that would make that kind of noise. As we were scanning, we both caught this shadow-like darkness that seemed to be illuminating the small broken down shack. Almost like it was going from dark to black, dark to black. As we kept looking at this pulsing shadow, it seemed to be growing larger. Another loud boom rattled all around us. We stumbled back and fell to the ground, it was so loud. I immediately thought, "We can't be the only ones to hear this? Are we?" Just then the dark, black shadow raised above the shack and started circling above it like in Ghostbusters when all the spirits get released above the building. It felt like it was warning us to leave. We scrambled to our feet and ran to the four-wheeler. Luckily it had been idling the whole time. "Get on," I said. I got on after my wife. I cranked on it, and we turned around and started to hightail it to safety. Just then I felt a couple slaps on my back. I slowed down to look over my shoulder. We were both looking at this huge, dark, shadow that was heading straight for us. It was riding the wind back and forth, up and down, kind of swirling towards us. The whole time an impending feeling of doom and dread washed over us. It was like we had stumbled upon his home, and he did not want any visitors, or maybe he did want visitors, just not the ones that leave. From what I was feeling, I would say this thing was not happy and wanted to hurt us. I decided to hit the gas harder and we got out of there fast. I didn't look back until I had taken a turn and put a lot of distance between us and that thing. We finally stopped at the top of the first hill. The feeling was gone, it felt a lot lighter out. No more impending doom feeling. We both agreed to never go back there. Maybe carting the four-wheeler behind a truck isn't such a bad idea.